In this short video, we're going to have a look at some image enhancement options within ArcGIS, and in particular I'm going to look at the ability to contrast stretch our data. So this only changes the way the data are visualized. It doesn't actually change the data themselves. So I've gone ahead and I've loaded a Landsat image. You can see it up here on the table of contents on the left hand side. And if I right click onto that, I'll go into properties, and this is going to allow me to change the way the data are displayed. Now the first thing that I usually like to do is to display the background value as null. So if I tick on that box here, you'll see once I apply that, the black border around my image will disappear. So now we're just looking at the image itself without worrying about that background. The next thing that I'd like to do is actually just look at it as a single band at a time. So I'm going to go into the stretched option, and this is going to change to make it a grayscale option. So if I click on the pull down for band here, you can decide which band that you'd like to look at first. I'm going to stick with looking at band 1 as my grayscale. Now I'm going to still display that background value 0 as null, and this time what I'm going to do is use a stretch. So here I've got the option to use a standard deviation stretch, and I'm going to put it at 2.5. Now as I apply this, you'll see the change. So you can now see the image, and it's just in the grayscale, and this is the coastal band for Landsat, so you can see quite a few features out in the water bodies. And so you can go through each of the individual bands and apply that, so you can visualize band by band at a time. Now one of the things I like to do is to go through to band 5, which is the near infrared band of Landsat. And if we click apply here, you'll be able to see that off the coast of Queensland here, there's a lot of black areas, and that's the water, and we know that near infrared light is absorbed by water, so you can see that really dark color is showing us the absorption. And now if I go into histograms, this is going to show me exactly how the data are being displayed. So you can see that at the moment it's stretching the data between these values that are just along the x-axis here. So the initial data is shown in the grey. So we've got a peak with really low pixel values, and then we've got a second mode out here with some moderate level pixel values. And this is showing us the difference between the water as a large number of pixels with very low values, and the land being a moderate number of pixels, but over a larger range as well. So I can actually change the way the data are displayed interactively by simply clicking and moving the values that are going to get stretched along the way. And as I did that, you'll see that this pink overlay over the top of the grey changed, and this is the way that the data are now going to get displayed. So I could click apply here, and that will apply my stretch. So you'll see that the land became a little bit darker when I did that. If I go into histograms again, perhaps I'm interested in only thinking about the water values. And we know that the water values are these really a large number of low value near infrared wavelengths. And so if I choose to only display those, that means that any pixel with a value larger than where I've set this point here, that will actually become a display value of bright white. So let's have a look at that if I apply that there. So you'll see now that the land is saturated, and you start to get a little bit more of a gradient of grey in the water. Now if I was to go the other way, for example, and decide that I'm not interested in the water values at all, but I'm going to stretch out the land values, which are appearing in this second mode. So I'm just looking at those, and I'll now see that this high number of pixels with low pixel values will all become black because they've got a lower value than that which I'm going to start the display. So let's have a look if I do that now. So you'll see straight black out in the water areas, but then in this way we get a little bit more contrast within our land features. So the histograms are really important to understand what it is that we're seeing within the histogram and how it can be utilized to display our data in a way that makes it easier to visualize and therefore to qualitatively assess what's actually in the data. So you can do this also with the multi-band image if you like. So all you need to do is go into the RGB composite and then change the stretches within the histograms there as well.